Welcome to Bon Jovi Discussions. Today I have one of my really, really good friends, Samira, who lives in Brazil. How are you?
Fine. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very
Absolutely.
happy to be able to be here finally.
Absolutely. For anyone that's listening, I'm going to speak a little slower today for Samira, who obviously can speak English, but she needs me to slow down a little bit on my English. Anyway, before we get into this really, 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 I'm not sure if I mentioned really fun episode. I want to ask you how you became a. I know this story because we talk so much, but for people that are
Yes.
listening, how did you become a Bon Jovi fan?
Well, I think I was
Yesterday.
10 years old yesterday. Yes, yesterday. You are right. I think I was about 10 or 12 years old on Crush Era. Same as you.
Yep, same as me. Yeah.
Uh, First music I heard was My Life, of course. I was MTV diehard. So suddenly I was watching MTV and oh my God, what is this?
Hmm.
This and I was a handsome fan. And because of that I started to watch MTV every day and since It's My Life I became a diehard Bon Jovi fan
Yeah.
and it became part of my life.
Best band in the world. And it's kind of funny because we've both been a fans
Mhm.
since 2000, the rebirth of the band
Yes.
essentially, and have grown the last 24 years with them, which I think what we're going to talk about here soon is going to really go into that because I don't know about you, but I'm feeling so much pride today of our favorite band. I'm just excited. But before we get into all that, what is your favorite
Mhm.
Bon Jovi song?
These days.
These days. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
With no
Okay.
hesitation.
All right. So I have been containing all of my excitement today for this episode. So anyone that's listening, Samira, everyone, I am about to unleash all of my excitement and energy into this because today is such a great day in Jovi land. Obviously, anyone that's listening to this knows that Bon Jovi just put out the new single. So we are in a new Bon Jovi era. We are no longer,
Yes.
I don't want to say we were in the 2020 era because we weren't,
No.
but we were like in the post 2020 era, waiting for news, waiting for something to happen, waiting for the 40th anniversary era, you know. But
It's
it
still a
feels,
part of this house not for sale,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Today we started a new era of the band.
Mhm.
We're celebrating 40 years, obviously, but the band officially put out Legendary, which is the very first single. We're going to talk about that song and music video
Mhm.
here later on. But they also announced the new album, which comes out on June 7th everywhere, Bon Jovi Forever. And we'll get into that title here in a second. And so obviously we've known in the last 10 days that the band has had a countdown on bonjoviforever.com. And they started putting out pictures, in different cities of,
Mhm.
2024 is going to be legendary, and then bonjoviforever.com. So, we all kind of connected the dots. Okay, the diehards like us, we knew that Legendary was going to be the single because John talked about it back in February
Yes.
with Music Cares. So we knew that. The general public probably didn't. So that's news to them. But and then the Forever, we figured, okay, it's going to be the album title because of that, and then obviously the jean jacket that John wore. Um,
Mhm.
but so anyway, and I know you were too, uh, waiting for that countdown to go down this morning at 9 o'clock a.m. And you know what was that? It always happens with any countdown. And I don't know why I always have hope, but once the timer went out, I was hoping it would reappear. Nothing. And I don't think anything refreshed for like 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the Bon Jovi
Same
count started.
here.
What's that?
Same here.
Yeah. And so anyway, let's I'm going in so many different directions because I'm just so excited. But let's actually talk about the album cover first. Before
Okay.
we do, I better give you a chance to speak on your first reaction of the news.
I think the cover is connected with the documentary. So Thank You, Goodbye, the Bon Jovi story, and It Can Be Forever.
Yeah. You know, my initial reaction to when I first heard that it was going to be called Bon Jovi Forever, which I think is a great title.
Mhm.
I'm obviously one of my original Bon Jovi Forever t-shirt. Um, you know, earlier this year they put out some more merch with the Bon Jovi Forever t-shirt.
Mhm.
And so with the website, and then John, you know, we saw a few weeks ago, John and the band were doing a photo shoot. I think it was in LA, and John was wearing the
Okay,
jacket.
yes,
So we all,
yes.
you know, it was pretty, yeah, it was easy to guess that was gonna be the title. And so I thought to myself, I was like, it's kind of odd to name the album Forever when it could be called Legendary. You know, if you're celebrating 40 years, Legendary is the better title. I think the title
Mhm.
Forever, and like I said, I think it's a great title and I'm excited for it. I just think that the title Forever should be saved for a final album, you know? But then that also reminds me because in some interviews today, that John has done press for, people have asked him, is this it? Is this gonna be, is this the end of Bon Jovi? Because there's a documentary coming out, Thank You, Good Night, which, you know, we obviously know that John says every night at the end of a show. And then the new album's
Mhm.
called Bon Jovi Forever. So two hints right there that kind of shows you, or makes you wonder, is this the end of Bon Jovi? And I hope
Yes.
not. And you know, just what John has said today, he's kind of mentioned that it's not the end. He just doesn't know what the future holds. He doesn't know about touring. I know one thing he was really optimistic about was that he just loves to write music. And and so what I really think is I think the touring is going to slow down, if not stop. And I just see the band really making more new music and stuff, which is great. Now, if this was the final album, which I hope it's not, I think this is one hell of a title. You know, like kind of pretty much saying this is quote unquote the end of the band, but our legacy will always live on. You know, I'm
Mhm.
jumping to conclusions here. I'm just wanting to put that out there. Either way, I think it's a great album title. I really, it seemed like from the interviews today that John was really optimistic about this album. And you and I have both talked about this quite a bit. In the recent years, John has been so much happier. And I think he's in a, and he's even said it on these interviews in the last few weeks today, that he's in a much better place. He's, you know, the last 11 years were kind of hard on him. And this, he said that this album is very optimistic and it's not what 2020 was. And it's just a very joyful, optimistic rock album, which is great. I think it's something that we needed, you know, kind of a refreshment. You know, I love 2020, but I'm glad it's not
Mhm.
as dark. And like I said, I love that album. It's a great album, but I'm really glad it's not political.
Do you agree with me that 2020 wasn't a tour album, right?
Yeah. It was just, you know, as John said, it was a topical album.
Yes.
Um, and it was just for that time period. You know, it was an album that got it, you know, as fans like us, 2020 was an album
Mhm.
that got us through the pandemic. It gave us something to look forward to, and you know, new music,
Mhm.
interviews, and you know, just give us a little bit of something. And it's just great that we're starting a new era of the band today. Um, what did you think of the album cover?
Oh, it makes our imagination to go on and beyond because
I already know where
uh
your imagination was John's behind.
yeah, yes, of course, Joe's behind, but uh what you said about the end of the band, I thought about that. That could be the end.
Yeah,
The last one. We know all the Jones issues with his voice and what he's fighting for.
yeah,
So I thought about that. That could be the last one, the last tour, or at least the last world tour.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
yes.
yeah. When I saw the album cover, I thought this is really cool. You know, and we knew that was going to have something to do.
Mhm.
You know, let me back up here. We knew that was going to be something that was probably going to be the album cover because we saw that photo shoot a few weeks ago, and and um excuse me. I think it's a really perfect picture. You know, I've seen John
Mhm.
with the jacket. The only thing that I wish Tico and David were at least on that album cover. You know how they kind of blur out the people that are walking. I think it would have been kind of cool to see like the band members walking in different directions. At least Tico and David, as the original members, and
Yes.
you
I
know,
miss the other guys too.
yeah, so it'd be kind of nice to see Tico walking this way and David this way. And I get it. They did it right in the streets of LA
Mhm.
where it's busy and it's kind of hard to do that. So, I get it. Um, so that's my only wish there. But I do love the album cover, the way that John kind of, because it makes you kind of think John's looking in the future in a way, because his back's to us, obviously to show the jacket, but he's also looking ahead. And I think he's, the way he looks, looks like he's reflective, but also looks in the future. And people that
Where am I going on now?
exactly. And people that are probably listening to this are thinking, Jerry, you are thinking way
Mhm.
too much into this, but that's okay. Let's see where we are here. And so let's talk about the photography. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about the album cover?
Oh, excuse me. Excuse
Jerry
me.
said,
I just drank
Jerry
them.
said it all. Um, let's talk about the photography. So we got to see the first
Mhm.
actual band photo yesterday, and it included Shanks and Everett,
Seven.
who recorded on the album. And so we
Yes.
saw that photo yesterday, and then we saw a couple more today of the band, and the band just looks great. They all look, like the vibes that I'm getting right now is like you look at this band and you just see a band that's lasted for 40 years, especially when you look at John, David, and Tico, a
Mhm.
band that's lasted 40 years. Then you look at the other guys thinking that they've joined the ride and they've, been supporting this band all these years too. And it's a great, really great band photos. And I can't wait to see more of the photos from the photo shoot of the whole band walking through LA with the
Mhm.
Forever jacket and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
I think they brought a new fresh air to the
Yeah.
band,
Yep.
so you can get more young kids, not only us old fans. For example, my daughter. My daughter is 4 years old and she's
I
in love
know.
about John.
Yeah.
You know,
All,
she's crazy about John.
Yeah, all the videos that you send me are so adorable. Her singing to every word and watching the videos and just so much excitement. I love that. It's cute.
She told me last week she don't want to go to Disneyland this year. She wants to go to John.
Yeah, me and her both. Um, let-
She and everybody.
yeah, let's talk about the title
Hmm.
tracks of the album. And I
Okay,
think these are. I'm still trying to memorize these. So
I have
obviously,
here.
nope. Okay. So the first one is Legendary, which is
Yes.
we're going to talk about. That's the very first single. The next
Hmm.
one is, and I want to kind of back up before we get into these titles too, because Bon Jovi, they posted a teaser the other day with a car, and it gave me "This House Is Not for Sale" music video vibes of this classic car driving, having the radio on, and it plays their hits, and on the license plate
Hmm.
says Bon Jovi Forever. Anyway, they played I think like three new songs in there,
Hmm.
and I can't. Obviously, we don't know the names of them yet. They only play like 5 seconds of each. But the one that I really liked was something along the lines. I'm talking about someday, or I'm tired of waiting for someday, or something like that along the lines.
So,
And so I think that's like the song that I'm really looking forward to.
something.
Yeah. And then so the second track is "We Made It Look Easy," which
Yes.
I wonder if that is, this is all a guessing game for us right now, but I wonder if that is going to be a song that is reflective. We made it look easy. Kind
Hmm.
of maybe talking about their career for 40 years.
Hmm.
Um, Next one is Living Proof. I have
Yes.
a feeling and I could be totally wrong on these. I'm just guessing.
Hmm.
Living Proof could be like I was just a small town kid with big dreams and I achieved those dreams. Waves, I'm looking forward to hearing or seeing what that song is about. Maybe it's about how life throws you curveballs, like all the
Yes.
stuff that John's
Our
been
life
through.
gold.
Yeah.
Yes. The ups
And
and downs.
ups and downs, that's a
Yes.
perfect way to put it. So I have a feeling that's what it's going to be about. Seeds, I don't know what that is going to be. Maybe plant in a garden.
Hopes.
Just
Oh, I
hopes.
know.
Yeah.
Like this house not for sale,
Yeah.
for example. Yeah.
The next one is Kiss the Bride, which we know
Bright.
John said back in the Music Cares event that he wrote that song for his daughter Stephanie, who's getting married. So we know what that
Mm-hmm.
song's about. And I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to that one. I wonder if it's going to be more of a, not in a weird way, but like a romantic ballad, or
Mm-hmm.
if it's going to be something like Story of Love from a parent's perspective. And I think I'd like that if it is, you know.
You think more like an acoustic song?
Maybe I could see that because I
Mm-hmm.
think with Kiss the Bride, I think it's so personal to John. I don't know, wish we had song credits still,
Mm-hmm.
or we haven't had them yet. But with that song being so personal to John, I have a feeling he wrote that song all by himself, and that might
Mm-hmm.
be more of an acoustic song.
Yes. Like Story of Love.
Yeah, The People's House. I don't know what that could be about, but that's the seventh track. I wonder if that could be maybe a concert, you know, People's House. I don't know. I'm stretching
Some
it here.
some political stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Walls of Jericho. I don't even know who Jericho is. You know who Jericho is?
No, no, no. I
Me
don't.
either. I wrote you a song.
A
I, I,
song or
I
another ballad.
yeah. And you know me, you know how much I love ballads. So, and,
Yes.
and it's funny I say that because out of all these 12 songs, that's actually the one song that I'll listen to this
Mhm.
song begin to end, but I think that's the one song I really want to hear first. That's the one title that really
Mhm.
jumps at me. I'll I have a feeling it could be like John writing for Dorothea or something, you know?
More personal.
Yeah, more personal.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, Living in Paradise. And that one sounds like it's a more
Mm.
fun song,
Mm. Just
uh,
like Legendary.
just like Legendary. And then My First Guitar, which we've learned from the backstage with Bon Jovi that John finally found his very first guitar that he had when he was a
Yes.
because he's been on the search for years, and then he finally found the person that had it. John got it
Mhm.
back, and I think John said somewhere that when he got that first guitar back, he wrote a song with it.
Yes, he told this in musicals.
Okay, Music Cares. I knew it was
Yes.
somewhere, and so I think this song is about that, and I think I'm guessing he played that song with that guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the last one is Hollow Man,
Alaman.
which you and I have heard. Um, I saw it live I did a runaway trip in 21 and he played the first verse and chorus and it was really
Mm-hmm.
good. It was a song that he just newly wrote and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Did you see that video?
No,
No. Well, I posted on Twitter today, so check it out. But it's a really
I'll
good
check
song.
that.
And
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how different it's gonna be if it's different than how he performed it in 21. We're 3 years later into the song, so he might have tweaked it or changed some lyrics. So I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to that. Um, what song? If you could pick a song out of the whole track list, which one would you pick?
Oh, I'm crazy to listen to a Arancha song.
See, you and me both. And then as soon as I just I really love the personal.
We have similar tastes, you know that.
I know we do. I know. Yeah, I love the more personal songs and more
Yes.
ballad. I'm not saying this one. I feel like
Tells more about him. I think now we know John have his difficulties and he had to adapt himself, his voice to the songs, right?
Yep.
So it's cool to see him make personal songs. I think that's it. That's my point.
Yeah, and those make the best songs. You know,
Hmm.
when you are so heartfelt into it. Like I always say, like These Days and Destination Anywhere were some of the and Blaze of Glory even were truly some of the best albums that he's ever written because
Hmm.
they were so personal and everything, you know. And then when you put that out there for us to listen to, we relate to those really personal songs and we make it our own, interpret them in different ways, and that's the great thing about music. So, let's get into. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about the title tracks? Any other songs you wanted to talk about on there?
I think some names are curious,
Mhm.
some curious, and I'm just excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah. Merch. So obviously I had to
Oh,
talk about merch because you know how much
yeah.
I love
And I was
merchandise.
crazy this morning.
Yeah. And so the collector in me that just has to have everything
Oh,
out.
let's just show you something here. This is my office. I work here.
Okay. Ooh, look at that. Bon Jovi 2020.
Yes, always here.
Yeah,
Oh, let me just get back here. Just a second. Oh,
that's okay.
back
There you are.
back
So
here.
so you and I know you did too, but they put out merch obviously to support the new album, and they have
Hmm.
a cassette. I love how cassettes are making a comeback.
Yes,
So they
they have
have
a cassette.
so you can pre-order the album. You can get it on vinyl. You can get it on CD. You can get it
I
on
think that's four types of vinyl.
yeah. For there's a but
There's a double,
I've wrapped my
a
head around
single.
that. That there's the cassette, there is
Yes,
the CD, there's a signed CD, which we'll get into in a second, and then like you
sold
said,
out now.
so there's four different vinyls. There's one that is the normal
Double.
LP. It doesn't have the gatefold. I think that's the difference. Then the next one is there's a two LP, which I wonder if
Yes,
that's going to have more tracks, but that has a gatefold, and the first one doesn't. The third
yes,
one I think is the Ocean Wave vinyl, and
yes. That's
that
it.
includes and there's only 2,000 of these made, and that includes an instant photo of John. So or whatever. There's 2,000 photos made. So you get one, I get one. Your photo will be different than mine, I believe. I
Yeah,
think that's how
I
I
think so. I
yeah.
think so. I think that's it.
So and then they had T-shirts and then they had hoodies with the album cover. So,
Yes.
but I know the one thing um, that I really liked and appreciated was that because in 2020 they did signed CDs, but they didn't do it on the website. They did it through record stores. And it was so hard for fans like you and me to get a hold of them because scalpers would get them and then they would
Mhm.
resell it for like 5 times the worth of it.
Yes.
And so the band or John or the band's team put signed CDs on the merch store for like what, $12 I think they were, you know, very cheap, you know, the same price as the normal CD. And
Yes.
so that's really cool. I really admired that they did that for us. You know, they didn't upcharge us even more because it was signed. It's the same price as a regular CD.
Actually, the this new one was 14.90, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. Um, so how crazy did you go? What all did you get?
Oh my God, my
Everything.
stomach. Oh, I sent you a message,
Yeah, I know.
because here's the problem. I am Brazil, and all the merch is only for US. They didn't release for the other fans. So we're trying to get inside the website, but our IP here was blocking us to get inside the merch. So what I had to do, I had to put my VNP to change my IP location
Yeah.
so I could get inside the website. And I I could get my CD.
Well,
I,
and
I, I got the signed one.
good, good. Because I was gonna, I offered you that I would send you the CD if you couldn't get it, and you did. But
Yes,
so what I did, you know me, the collector, I just added everything except for the white shirt and white hoodie. I figured since I already have it,
I know.
black t-shirt and black hoodie, I didn't need it in white too. So, but I got everything else, and I I remember I went to my cart to check out, and I was like this, just
I
covering
don't want to
my eyes,
see.
filling out the information, just not trying to look at that price, and I just clicked the checkout button, and but
And
I saved up for it, so. But yeah, I really do like the merch that they've put out so far. I think it's kind of cool, the album cover and stuff. And I like all the different all these years. I've always said, because you see other bands do it, like especially like Taylor Swift, they put out a vinyl of like this different color and stuff. And so I'm glad Bon Jovi's
Mhm.
finally doing that. And it's not on the band's store, on HMV in the UK. Excuse me. There's an apple, crisp apple, apple cider, I don't know, something apple uh variant of a record of the record too, so people can get that. And two other things about the merch store was, one, if you went to the UK store, you could, if you ordered something, eventually you'll get a pre-sale link to the upcoming tour, which we've heard that they're not planning on touring this year. And then John said in somewhere in an interview that they're planning on doing next year. I haven't heard this interview though, so it's just a rumor right now.
Mhm.
There's been so many things that have been said, so who knows what's going on. But if that's what it says on the band's website, I believe it.
Mhm.
So hopefully, eventually we'll get dates. I think my personal thought, I think we'll get dates next year. Um, and then another thing about merchandise was the jacket. A lot of fans want that jacket. Now they did a variant of that jacket like early on during the backstage with John Bon Jovi fan club, early days. But I think it's cool to kind of re-release that, especially because of this album release. And Matt tweeted earlier that they are planning on selling those. So I am excited. Those
It's
things will,
great.
yeah, those things will sell out quick. So as soon as they put it out there, I'm gonna be like this, checking, checking out, covering my eyes and
and
just
and
buying it.
and we still need to save for the next running to right.
Exactly that too. That, yeah. So it's a great year to for the band and for the fans, but it's not so good for the bank account, right?
No, no,
Um,
not at all.
was there anything you wanted to say about the merch before we get into Legendary?
Yeah, actually, you talking about the tour. We have some news here in Brazil that Bon Jovi would come for Rock in Rio, and of course for a bunch of other shows.
Yeah,
Um, even from officials, and was a totally, how can I say to you? I cried a lot when you told me this is not happen. It's not gonna happen at
yeah,
least this year, because we were all excited after more than 4 years here, at least for us. Né? And the last show was in 2019, so it'd be amazing having the band here again, the band together, and especially have John singing again live.
yeah.
Uh,
That's
was so emotional to see him singing on Music Cares. At
yeah.
least for me, it was so emotional.
Well, and the thing is, I think the band's got to tour one more time, at least one more time, just to be able to go
I
around
think
the world
so.
and say, because there's so many fans that want to see him right now, see them right now. And I think it would be great to do at least one more. It doesn't have to be a lot of shows, just come to a few countries, play a few shows, and then, kind of a way of saying thank you. Wouldn't it be cool if they did tour next year and they called the tour "Thank You, Good Night"? You know, as a final tour. I think that's great. Um, but when I say how much I'd love to see him at the tour, and I do. I also think that John has really worked hard at doing vocal recovery from the surgery and healing, and I don't want to see him ruin that over doing a tour so quickly. So if that means that we have to wait to see him be the best that he can be, then I'm okay with that. It sucks that we have to wait even longer for a
Mhm.
tour, but I think health comes first, you know.
Yes,
I
I
know
agree.
that's
Mhm.
it's easier to say than feel, you
Mhm.
know, for a lot of people, but it's the truth. I think health is more important, and I'd rather see him being able to do one more tour at the best that he can be, bef- instead of going out right now and ruining it, you know?
I think if he can do his best, he won't do.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the thing.
It's not going to be like other singers at his stature, or, that are still around and have every singer has vocal problems when they get older.
Yes.
And there's some singers that just don't care and they still go tour and they just damage it even
Mhm.
more. John's taken those precautions and gotten the surgery, is doing better. So time will tell. Right now, I'm just living in the moment because I'm just so glad that our favorite band is still putting out music. We're getting a documentary, so there's still things that we're getting this year, you know, just not a tour as of now. Um, we'll see what we got next year, I'm hoping for a tour. At least some runaway trips, right?
Yes, at least we need that closure.
Yep. All right, let's get into Legendary, which is the very first single off the album. We've heard this
Yes.
song back in February. Like I said earlier, a lot of the general public have not heard Legendary. Now, the
Mhm.
diehards, like all of us, we've heard Legendary because of Music Cares when John was honored back in February and the band performed Legendary for the very first time. And when they did that, I was so excited. Like, I could not wait for today because John did say in an interview that night that they were planning on putting it out in March, and I was really excited for that song, and just the way that John had confidence while performing that song. To me, it's like a song that's all about this is who this is who not necessarily what the song means, maybe in a way, but really the way that they performed it was like, this is a band of 40 years. John had a lot of confidence, singing and playing and being on a stage again, because to remind everyone, we really haven't seen this band on stage since
Mhm.
2022.
Yes.
And this is really, other than a solo performance that he did for a private event, this is the very first time that we saw the band back together on stage performing. So
Every single one.
yeah, and it was so hard for us to make out some of the words in the song from that audio performance because it was just fan made, or people who filmed on their cell phone and posted it online. Before we get into the actual song, what did you think of the song when you first heard it on Music Cares?
Oh, it looks like more like a motivational song for me. To inspire, to thank you, especially after the pandemic and the issues with his voice. And he was so happy on News Cares.
Yeah,
It was just like I can do this again. I can sing again. It looks
yeah,
like this for me.
yeah. I thought he sounded great. I really do.
Yes, yes.
But let's talk about the song released today. Um, when you heard the song for the first time today, the
Okay.
studio track, what did you think of it?
Do you mean about the lyrics, about this
Well, yeah, we'll get into the deeper stuff,
everything?
like your initial reaction to it.
Um, I try to think about song like a new Bon Jovi era. I'm trying to not forgetting all of the past, but it's different.
Yeah,
Not a rock song nor a pop song, but it's about himself. And like I said before, he needs a song right now to adapt to himself.
Yeah,
So he needs a song he can sing. It's not like, for example, always. He can sing always, every show. He can do that. I know, you know, but
yeah.
he needs to adapt himself. And I thought about this. It's a good song for his voice now. Uh, and I think that's it. Uh, Not the best one, but I like the song. I like the story behind the song.
What I get from the lyrics is I think it's a song about where he's at now in life.
Mhm, mhm,
He has nothing left to prove. This is who he is, and just kind of finding the joy in life, and what matters to him. Like the line, singing "Sweet Caroline" or "Sweet Caroline" as we all sing along. Got my brown-eyed girl. That's about Dorothea there, and
yes,
I know that's a
uh, the
favorite
the
lyric.
the brown.
Yeah, brown-eyed. Yeah, um, yeah, yeah. And you know what? I get a lot of "When We Were Us" and "Just Older" vibes, like combined. That's how it sounds, and I think, I'm really impressed with how it sounds. The production, and I'll give credit on the production. The production of the song is actually really good. You can
Mhm,
tell there's a lot of effort put into this. Um, but yeah, I get a lot of "Just Older" and "When We Were Us" vibes with this
mhm.
song, which is great. I think the one thing that really stands out for me that I really enjoy is Tico's drum drive. The way that he just, the drums really drive the song, if that makes any sense. Um, I just love the way that he plays, and the band's backing vocals. Everett's in there, David.
I know to that. I know to that. All of them were singing.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. I think in a way that's, and John sounded great on the song, and I think with the whole band, because normally it's just Richie and David, or just David, or just Richie, which obviously
Mhm.
Richie's not on this album, just using the last 40
Mhm.
years,
A few back
but in this situation,
sometimes.
usually you would just get David and Phil, and Everett's never really been on an album. He's just been torn with them, so I really like that Everett's on this album because he's a really good singer and just a great guy, and he's always so happy. So it was really nice to see, Phil, David, Shanks, Everett all sing together and kind of back up John, because in a way
You,
that also says, yeah, me with my headphones on, uh, you know, it's those backing vocals prove, John, we got you. We'll help carry you through the
Mhm.
song, and John sounded great in this, and I know, back up. John sounded great in this song, and I think that's where I really had a lot of pride with that song today, because I downloaded it, I listened to it, and I thought to myself, my favorite band of 40 years still has it, and they are so incredible still. Um, yeah. And I know some people were bitching online. I shouldn't say bitching, because I know there's fans out there that don't like the song, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I know some people were mentioning how it needed a guitar solo. I personally think that it didn't, because there's some songs that just does not need a solo. Some
I
songs,
agree with you. I would say that
yeah,
not every song needs a solo.
yep, exactly. And this song didn't need
Mhm.
one, in my opinion. You know, um,
For example, Dry County, the solo is
I
the
kind of doesn't need
best
a solo.
part. It's the best part of the music.
Oh,
You
I
don't
thought,
even care about the lyric.
yeah, I thought you were going to say Dry County didn't need a solo. I was like, you better watch it, because a lot of people that listen, they'll come after you. That's like the highlight of the song is Richie's solo. Oh, that's funny. Was there anything else that you? Oh, we. One other thing I wanted to say was how happy the lyrics are, and I really there's two really fun parts of the song that I like. I like raise my hands up to the sky. Don't need um more to tell me I'm alive. And that really just tells me like he's just happy with who he is and where he's at in life. You know,
Mhm.
there was an interview that he did today where he said that he just looks at the sun and just really appreciates what he has in life. And just he just talked about how happy he was. And I think those lyrics really originate from that. And I also love the whole chorus. You know, those lyrics they're just really fun to sing along to, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. How about you? What are your favorite lyrics of the song?
Oh, let me see here. I think the chorus, I like it very much. I don't know by heart yet.
That's okay. We're all still learning. By tomorrow, we'll know it.
I think the I raise my hands up the sky. Don't need more to tell I'm alive.
Yeah, I love that song or that line. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Let's talk about
Just be thankful.
yeah. Let's talk about the music video, which is very I don't know if I should say AI, but it's very computer generated, obviously, with the band, you know, outside of the solar system. For anyone that's watched the video, spoiler alert, they're not really outside in the outer space.
No.
That's computer. That was a joke. That was a bad joke. Anyway, so I was actually really impressed with the music video. It took me a few times to really think about what it was. For
Pick
me,
every single detail.
uh, songs have interpretations, okay? I also
Mhm.
think sometimes too music videos can have different interpretate or I'm getting tongue twisted here, but have different views on what it's about. And for me, I think the music video is about how music takes us beyond, you know, because when we listen to music, it takes me to a whole new world, you know.
You imagine one thing.
Yeah, it takes me to
Mhm.
somewhere magical, to a different
Mhm.
universe, you know, beyond. And and so you know the music video starts out with the band in the studio recording the song, quote unquote, and then all of a sudden they're in outer space, or you know, and then you have people who are just watching the solar system, you know, moon, the sun, the earth, the you know planets, and then at the end you see the band going back into the studio. So for how I interpreted it was that when they record a song, it's their song, but when they release it, like John has said many times, it becomes our song. And that's how I felt. I felt like this the music just takes you to a different level, you know, in a universe. And maybe I'm looking too much into this video, but that's how I took it.
Uh, I was looking mainly for the band. Um, yeah, I was present how they were having fun.
Say that
Uh,
again.
I was impressed at how the band was having fun.
Oh, I know. You know, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. The band just looked really confident and
Look at like a garage band having fun with friends, and doesn't matter what else gonna happen. This is what matters. What is here now, where we are singing now. The
yeah,
people there is around here now.
yeah.
There's enough.
You know what else is that I really liked? It shows it showed you how confident John looked too, you know,
Yes,
like being proud of his band and I another cool thing that I like too was the heart and dagger. So when the music video starts, there's a little heart and dagger on the back of the computer screen, you know. So I thought that
yes.
was kind of a nice touch. I was surprised that there's no white mic in the video. You know, we're pretty used to seeing John with his holy white mic. That wasn't in the video.
Yes, and he loves his mic.
I know. Where is it? And so that was kind of, you know, different, but that's okay. Um, you know, another interpretation I took from the video too was, you know, like the band in front of the world, like they're on this like field of grass. I also kind of took that as the band taking on the world. You know, I know that sounds cheesy to say, but that's how it kind of felt, you know. Um, one other thing that too, and my buddy Jack was talking to me about this earlier with the Forever, when they were doing
Mhm.
the teaser the other day with the car driving, it
Mhm.
had the Forever license plate,
Yes.
and then Bon Jovi hits playing on the radio. That would have been kind of cool to put, have it put that in the music video. At the same time, I think that would replicate "This House Is Not for Sale" music video a little too much. So, but I really wish they maybe they will, but put out more clips of that car. I thought that was really cool.
A glimpse of that the
Yeah.
list.
So, was there anything else that you wanted to say that we did not cover? I know I talked a lot, and I'm sorry. I told you at the beginning of this
I
that
know.
a lot of energy to unleash on you, and I think that I did, didn't I?
And I'm very shy to show
Oh,
up.
you're get out of here. You're fine. What was
You
there?
are inviting me for 2 years, and this is the first time I accept that.
I know. Was there anything else that you want before I end the recording? Was there anything else that you wanted to say that we didn't cover or talk
I
about?
think we need we know great things are coming this year. Not as much as we imagine, like tour, but postponed, and it happens. We know there's gonna happen another tour. We know that, but I think all of us need to enjoy all the things that are coming out. Um, so the maybe a running tour, the documentary, the bar,
Oh yeah, the
the
bar. Yeah,
new album. So we have great things to talk about and to enjoy our band together.
I agree with you. 100%. I agree. So, all right. Don't hang on. I'm going to end the recording here, make sure it saves. So, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on and do the podcast. It was great. I can't wait to have you on again where we talk about something else and an episode where I'm not talking so much.
No, we don't talk so.
I told you I had a lot of excitement today and I saved it all for this podcast episode. So,
Uh, you wanted to go early here.
yeah. Anyway, Samira, thank you for being such a good friend to me all these years. It's great to finally have you on the podcast. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
I thank you for having me here to be a very good friend for me, not on Bon Jovi
Yeah.
stuffs, but everything. And see you soon, I hope.
Yeah. Don't hang up on me. I'm gonna end the recording.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.